Hello and welcome to the Crazy Angels podcast. I'm joined by Pascal and David Logan. Hi guys.
Hey.
How y'all doing? Hello.
Today we want to continue to talk about a song from the upcoming album, which is about the so-called Victim Olympics. And this song is called I'm a Victim Too. Pascal, can you please tell us something about this song?
Yeah, building on David's joke about the Victim Olympics, nowadays we see the elites trying to co-opt the narrative of many other people. And one of the narratives is victimology. So to gain prestige in many cultures, you have to be the greatest victim of all. So our elites have picked that up and are claiming to be victims too. And they claim solidarity with victims around the world, et cetera, as a way of signaling virtue and gaining regard and esteem. So I wanted to write a satirical song about that in the spirit of Elvis Costello and the early Beatles. So I'll talk about it in a moment, but just a little bit more about the background of the song. We're a non-political podcast. We accept all politics that are reasonable and decent and fair.
And even politics we disagree with.
That's even important. Politics we disagree with. My view is that it's not nowadays. It's no longer about left or right or parts of the political spectrum. It's more about high and low, and victimology. And this song reflects that. So the most pampered and spoiled and elite members of our society often try to co-opt the stories of the so-called low of regular people. And this has been going on for some time. In fact, I think it began in the 60s and 70s with, it's called the conquest of the cool. So that was the beginning of hip consumerism. So, for example, Madison Avenue marketing agencies, the cream of the cream, the elite, everybody coming out of Harvard and Yale and other Ivy League schools, looked around and they saw the coolest people in the society were often on the margins. So people like Miles Davis, he's this brilliant black musician. He is the epitome of cool. And they like his vibe, so they co-opted it. And advertising since then has been cool. And it's the elite co-opting the counterculture.
Yep. Even just if I can quickly interrupt.
Please, yeah.
Levi's blue jeans were workers' pants for people working in coal mines, working on railroads. It was for the roughest jobs, roughest of the roughest. And then, yes, the spoiled, rich, elite college students in the 1960s, 50s, and 60s in America wanted to appear more poor because they were from rich, wealthy families. And eventually, blue jeans went full circle to the point that in the 80s, 20 years later, we got Calvin Klein designer jeans. How ironic. And I bet the coal miners are like, what the fuck? Yeah. What? They're crazy. They're paying $80. We pay $8. Sorry to interrupt. Go on.
Not at all. And as a matter of fact, there's a wonderful book, which I've got right in front of me. It's called The Conquest of the Cool by Thomas Frank. And it's how the elite always tries to co-opt the counterculture. So the same is happening now. It was ever thus. So this is a satirical song about that tendency and those kind of people. I'll just read the lyrics, if I may, and then I'll talk a little bit about the musical inspiration. Then I'll pass the baton to David. So here are the lyrics. I'm a knobby A-lister and a lucky dog. I got a castle on the Rhine and a girl in Prague. I own half the Cartier catalog. That's a high-end watch brand. But I'm a victim too. I got a penthouse suite on the South Beach Strand, the poshest part of Miami. Got a Porsche 911 and a Steiner Grand. I wish I had a Steiner Grand piano. Thoroughbreds and hired hands, but I'm a victim too. I'm a victim too. I'm a victim too. I got a certified case of everything is terrific blues. Welcome to my victimhood. If not me, somebody else would. Do you find me cynical? It's lovely up here on the pinnacle. And it goes on in that vein.
If I can just quickly, talk about the Victim Olympics, when you think of Martin Luther King saying, judge me by the content of my character, end of story, he's not saying judge me as a victim or as an oppressed people. He's saying judge the content of my character, right? And this is so profound. And I think the big problem with victimhood is that people define themselves based on what happened to them in the past, or the past of what happened to the people they belong to, instead of focusing on being an individual human being on the planet, which is what they should be focusing on, right? And so this is a big problem, of people who see themselves as victims. And because they're always stuck in the mindset, they can never break, seemingly never. I mean, some people do. And so I just want to, I guess put that out there to encourage anybody who does feel like a victim sometimes. I mean, sometimes we are victims, right? But don't let that define who you are as a person.
Just for the record, again, not to enter the Victim Olympics, but David's family and my family are from Eastern Europe and suffered the worst of the insanity of the 20th century. And we will say no more about that. Just one last thing I'll say. Morgan Freeman has a beautiful approach to it. There's an interview, Morgan Freeman.
There you go with a pull yourself up by the bootstraps thing, and you're just being respectable. Not everybody can do that.
Well, everybody can. Courage is the key to life itself. There are a lot of people who are born in situations where they say, well, I'll never get out of this. So they won't. I say to people who say, well, I would like to have done so and so and so. So, well, you could have done it. So, well, I couldn't get out of here. Man, the bus runs every day.
Yeah. And and in the Mike Wallace interview, he said, well, how do we end racism? And Morgan Freeman said, we stop talking about it. Just be a person. And that's it.